Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Sandy's Great Escape, where we had to take a little break for just a little while for scheduling reasons, but we're back. We're back to hopefully make our way to the end of this thing. It has definitely gotten pretty challenging. So let's have a look at this. I'll look at this with fresh eyes. You know, like a week or so hence. How do we blue button? How do we make ourselves a position where I can actually reach that gate? Yet with the blue button down, it does seem like it would be pretty easy, huh? So we got to get the ice block over to the right side of the puzzle. But the ice block is not trivial to interact with. So if I put myself up into the sort of the alcove by the door, I could certainly push it downward, although the utility of doing so is limited. If we get the red button held down, if we get the red button held down, then working ourselves up into this corner allows us to slide down here, then left to there, down to here, and right, and push this thing into a different spot. Is that actually a better spot? I'm not sure, but it's worth trying. It's worth getting to that point. So it's not super hard to put this box on the red button. Right? That's pretty straightforward. Then is this actually useful? Yeah, okay, I can get underneath it with this spiral of moves, and then we can get next to it and push it over. This allows us to hit the blue button, but not to hold the blue button. And once I have the blue button held, I still have to actually figure out a plan here, right? So we don't need the red one anymore. Do I want to bump the red box out? Or the box that's on the red button, rather? I don't know. Was this an error maybe? Do I want the ice path to have been on the... is there a way to get the ice to slide across one tile northward and have it just hold the button down itself? Because that would be awfully convenient. If I press it to the right here, it slides the whole way by itself. It crosses the non-iced snowy tile and just wedges itself in that corner. I really don't see, that is the only thing that could happen though, right? Given the position that it's in, we can only push it right or left. Pushing it left just locks it in a corner. Yeah, no, I think this is the only way to get it across, so we're gonna have to deal with this. But it does seem a little bit challenging to get a box into position to do anything then, doesn't it? Well, the box will stop on the snow. So if we got north of this neutral box, okay, I think I can do this. If we get north of this thing, push it down there. And then if I can press it from the left, I can actually move it one space up. This is a non-iced interaction. So how do I guess I can do this again because these spaces are not iced. We get a little bit of better movement around them. Right. This is a stopping point, and then I need to like move back around to here so that I can hit this thing going about 6,000 miles an hour. Okay, I do believe that's a solution. And hey, we got ourselves a 3 coin on the first try. Granted, this is only level 11 in this biome, so it is probably supposed to be a fairly easy one. Did you know coconut crabs have a great sense of smell and can detect food from far away? And that's really impressive considering, you know, most of the smell of the coconut's on the inside. It's a hell of a maneuver. Okay, a little bit of crab refraction. So we are going to need to produce a shell that will block the laser, and also a shell that will allow us to push it onto that button, right? So like this shell allows me to sneak past here. I think I'm going to need another shell, right? If I want to, what I want to do is create a shell by dying to the laser here to block the laser and let me do stuff. But in order to do that, we have to stop there. So let me rewind a little bit here. I think I need to hit this from the bottom, creating a new shell in its place, and also putting a shell up there. And then maybe even one more time, because we need one of those shells to be on the top tile there. Okay. Now that this is the case, actually, now that this is the case, how do I get that other leftover shell onto the button? Oh, also, I guess I'm feeling a little silly because you can just do this to block the laser. That whole song and dance wasn't necessary. Let me try this again. So we'll die here, and then there to block the laser. Well, okay, so I need to get onto this space to do the rightward push. So actually I was wrong. Some of that is still necessary because I have to create for myself a situation in which I can step on that block. So like, all right, now we can send a shell over there. So I think now I want to block it. Drop this shell there. That way I can land here and then push this over. Okay. Get ourselves a checkpoint. Apologies, by the way, if my breathing is a little labored. I try to keep my face away from the microphone when I am not speaking, but I am definitely having some respiratory stuff today. The magic of the season changes, you know? My life is going to be so much easier when that first frost hits. So it is trivial to drop a body on the green switch. And doing so blocks the laser. Because it'll raise up that pillar that's next to the blue switch. The question is, how do we block the blue switch? I guess the idea is you create a body on the green switch, then you get below it, press to the right here. That gets me a shell that's in a manipulable position, and then when I step off of this, we're gonna open the laser back up. This body is not going to be on the button, which is a little annoying. And obviously, if I just press up right now, we just shove that shell into a corner, which is no value. So how do I So how do I value here? I need to hit this body from... Like, how do I get this into a place that makes sense? That is of any value? I probably need to create some bodies first, right? I need to create some shells to use as blockers. But it's not clear to me... How would I actually do that? You could set up like a pair of shells in these two spaces here, so you could push it to the left and then push it down and it stops there. Maybe? How am I going to get it onto the button? How am I going to come from the correct position? Hey, you know what? I have a question. I have a question that might be important to our understanding of this puzzle. If I run into a laser in a situation like this, does the body... No, the body does not keep sliding. That's kind of interesting. But I can do that, right? I can create a wall in that way. So what if the move is like this? Huh. I don't want to push this all the way over. I'm just trying like really hard to construct a situation where I can... Yeah, getting a shell onto this blue switch is like pretty non-trivial. Okay. Create a couple of bodies over here, which gives me room to create another body in this column. This seems like a lot of work. I don't know if this is solid. Actually, it feels like it can't be, right? Because I can't get into the bottom space. I can't get into the bottom row to move that bottom body, because they'll just get pushed back. And I can't actually shove these with the pillar there. So perhaps what I have done here is actually nothing. So I was trying to construct a situation where we had a shell in the corner and a shell here, and I could slide down, move over into this space, get spaced out from the wall by the shell, and then shove a thing up onto the blue button and have our answer. Because like the part where you cover the green button seems almost trivial. It's just a matter of figuring out the blue thing first. And it doesn't seem like there's any situation where we're going to be able to push the shell onto the blue button from the right. Because like, how would I get to its right in a position where I will actually stop moving? So yeah, it does feel like it's got to be a push from the bottom. And the question is just how? Okay, so we push this over here first. Well, no, now I can't generate corpses anymore. I do need the laser to be functional. Because what you kind of want to do is end up with shells in both of these two spaces so that you can push a shell over to here and then put yourself in the space below it. But the second you block the laser like this, you're causing yourself a huge problem. Who would have thought it would be such a life-changingly negative experience to not be able to be murdered by a laser anymore? It just ruins everything. It's a catastrophe. We can't do the 2 shells in the row at the same time and then shove them over because we have to perform the shove from the space with the button that makes the pillar go up, which is a huge problem. So I was trying to space it out by getting one into the corner early, but if you do that, the laser doesn't exist. It's not that hard to get something... Oh, well, I guess I'm being silly, right? I was about to say, it's not that hard to get something into the corner. Sorry, I want to produce these shells in this row. But once you have something into the corner, you actually can just do this. There we go. And then you have to figure out the next part of this. We have to do this in a way that allows us a shell. Actually, I think we're fine. We just push this down and then this to this side, and that allows us to shove this shell. I just jump in a hole and push that back down onto the button, and there we go. This feels like it was probably a lot of moves. Oh, it was actually only a narrow miss. We can probably clean that up by 1, right? Let's take our first spin of the episode for morale's sake, though. All right, something cool, something grand. Yo, actually, that's rad. Is it better than the devil? Yeah, for the sake of variety, you know what? Poor Sandy's been wearing the same clothes for like a week. Like 2 weeks. This is very charming. You have to admit that. So I think this part I feel pretty good about. I feel like we did the right thing. Yeah, I can't think of a way to abbreviate that. All right, so now we block our laser. Okay, that part feels solid. Now, do all of the shells need to be dropped in the column to our left? I think so, right? Because with the bottom one, I need to be able to push it into the corner. Then we jump down here. Yeah, it's a real shame that this is going to be the same number of moves, right? Yeah, 61. Okay. So let's backtrack it to here. I don't think that first part of the puzzle cleans up. I think we're good here. I suppose we can't cut any of the horizontal movement. Everything does need to happen in that other column, right? So I need to go to the bottom. Going to the bottom requires us not to be here because the arrow. Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay, so maybe there's... It feels like that's pretty optimized for this strategy. So the answer might be that there's a slightly different strategy that I'm supposed to be using. So if we create corpse here, push down corpse there, No, there's never a version of this where I can... Yeah, if we go down first... No, there's never a version of this where I can push the rightmost shell in that second row from the left while it's still in this row, right? No, I have to... Is there maybe a little bit of setup I can do here that will be a little bit of different movement right now? What if... What if instead of creating a shell here to move upward, what if we created a shell to the right of the button? No, there's no version of that. I'm trying to like figure out if there's a way to come down on this column of shells. I guess I can create a shell there like that, and I do think that is actually slightly fewer moves. Hold on. Okay, so down, down, left, left, up, up. Down, down, left, left, up, up is 6. Or left, down, down, left, down is 5, right? Doesn't this save me a button press? Because like this part I had to do anyway. But looking at this, it sure doesn't look like it's fewer. No, in fact, somehow that's more presses. Where am I screwing that up? It seems like... Okay, what if... Push, no. I don't know. Somehow in my brain, I for a second there, thought I had a plan that involved pushing a shell to the left, but like, how could that ever possibly work? Because you're always going to just block the laser with it. You know what? Calling it good enough for now. I don't know how to get the third coin on that one. We'll just move on. Alright, on the right track, remixed. So this changes the direction of that arrow tile over to the left. Which right now would seem to be in a pretty good position for us, right? Except for the fact that it doesn't actually allow me through. Okay, so we can push through here. Obviously, I want to just go and push that box down, or push that box to the left. Okay. Then we have to get the red button as well. Which doesn't seem like it should be that hard. Because if we just get the block of ice to do the thing that we just did with the crate, but we have the blue button face, or the blue arrow thing facing the other side, that should just handle it, right? Obviously, there's some difficulty in extricating the ice block, though. Okay, so I need to Yeah, how do we get this thing out of the position it's in? Obviously, pushing it up would be bad because it would immediately get cornered. Pushing it down or left and then down is potentially productive, but how? Pushing it right doesn't make any sense unless we... If I remove this box first... So like there's a version of this where you push the box to the right, then go up into the corner above the box, pushing it down. Because if we leave it in the rightmost position in that top row, it prevents us from being able to push the ice block down from the space that it ends up in. And if we leave it in this row that it's in now, it prevents the ice block from reaching the place where it's pushable. So I do this, and then I do that, and we're just kind of like disposing of it, right? And then we want to get to this side of the ice block, push it that way. We can get it into the, Oh, right. This is problematic because of the, Yeah, this is solvable, though. There we go. And then it should be... Oh, right, except those conveyor belts are going to be a problem for me moving across there. I need those boxes to get up there to block some of that space. It's easy enough to put the box that's north of us right now onto the rightmost corner. But if I do that, how am I going to acquire the other boxes that I need? So how do I use this box to get me those boxes? If I pushed it to the left in the... Oh, I don't need its help getting the other... I'm so used to everything being ice at this point. Like, I actually can just push these boxes. You know, I can move around this top area at will. Sort of forgot. So... This lets me push this into the path. Oh, problematic. I'm stuck forever. Yeah, no, that's no good. Didn't really think that one through. Yeah. I was thinking we would push it into that position and then, you know, come out and rejoin the loop and just get it moving in the loop. But how? How was I going to get out of there? It would be better to push them up, but obviously that's quite impossible. It does kind of seem like you have to push them down. I just don't know how. If I get all three of the boxes... If I push the box down and then use the box that's currently on the red arrow flipper switch, send it through the loop, it can't pick that box up without also getting stuck. Well, you know, I don't have to... Yeah, because we could set up the blue arrow pointing right? We have a box right here. We send this box through the loop, and they both get pushed to there, but then I have them in these two spaces. It's easy enough to free the box that's in this space, but then we have one stuck in the dead space of the junction that we can't really do anything about. And I can always only free the rightmost block that's stuck in that position. So that's highly problematic. Now I only actually need 2 of these. One of the blocks can remain stuck in whatever weird situation we come up with for their use, but I do need 2 of them free. I wonder if this is a problem I would have had to have solved before locking the button boxes in place. I also might have screwed up by creating this long row of ice in the middle of the puzzle, potentially. Makes it very hard to move around. If I'd gotten like one of the boxes in the water first, so that there was one space that wasn't iced over, would that actually have been helpful? Kind of doesn't seem like it, huh? Yeah, unfortunately, it's just like this spot being traversable, or this spot being a place where you can stop, I don't think is actually very valuable. No, that's not true. It would allow me to... Actually, it is quite valuable. Okay, hold on. Let's go back a little. Maybe, in fact, I want to do this. Before we resolve every other problem we have. Put that in the spot where it needs to go. Then... I just kind of throw this out into the puzzle for the moment because it's just like in the way. That killed me, but it's more or less fine, honestly. And so now that that is in that spot, I can stop myself here. What is the most movement efficient way to do this? Because these both have to get pushed up. It is, like, frustratingly enough, that, I think. Wow. What on earth? That's the first time we've done that, right? Like, usually I find, like, the tightest solution I can find is somewhere in the neighborhood of, like, 4 to 6 moves short. And I think once we found one that was like a whole cycle faster than that, like another 4-ish moves. But this is like... I wonder what the intended solution looks like. Anyway, Fancy Sandy exclusively drinks Earl Grey tea. Now, I wonder if that's like... doesn't drink any other kinds of tea, or doesn't drink any other kinds of beverages at all, because that seems like that would... that seems like it would be bad for you in the long run. Alright, well, it doesn't necessarily seem all that difficult to get that box onto that red button. There are arrow shooters. We're gonna have to, like, time our movements right with the arrow shooters, but... Right, and then I think we're pretty good with this. I don't think there's a particular need. Do I need this box? Hold on. Is that a really bad idea in the long term because of the fact that it puts a box in an unrecoverable position? Like, how badly does actual Sandy need these boxes? There's a fan up there, so we don't need to push anything into the central column. Once we are... Yeah, once we get the key, we can just walk out into the central column. I don't think I do need the crates. Well, yeah, no, I don't think I do. I think we're okay to do this. And then it doesn't particularly matter whether the... Oh, actually, are we going to get respawns on Evil Sandy? Maybe it's actually really bad if Evil Sandy gets shot. Okay, so that's got us our key. Then... I need to get a box over in this bottom left corner. Not in the space that I'm in, but like in this space. So if I can get myself to here... Well, it doesn't... Pushing this box to here does not allow us to push it downward. I need to access this box from above first, which we can totally do, except that pushing it downward just corners it again. So actually, I do need at least one box to be positioned such that it allows me to leave the area. How do we set up that position? The box that's immediately to Sandy's right actually kind of doesn't... You don't have a lot of options with it. Pushing it up or down, which are the only places you can push it right now, immediately corner it. Once you get that red button held down, I guess you can move it. But like if you move it to the right, it corners, and if you move it to the left, it effectively is cornered because the only space that you could push it from to get it out of the corner is blocked off or is inaccessible. So that crate probably actually isn't important, right? Unless you... If we say went left, down, right, put this here, then I can do that and get it in a position where it does allow me now to exit the puzzle. However, now we've left that blue square there in a position where I can't ever access it again, which is probably like... I don't know, it might be okay to do that once you've got the box over here in the right spot. Unfortunately, there's ice underneath the button. Stepping on the button automatically moves me left. Might have to no, this is always how this is going to be, right? Once you step on the blue block, it's going to push you onto the thing, making it so that the arrow tile that it contains is pointing downward. So you have to do that when the box is on the position the box is on right now. Because all you can do from there is hit left and leave, and doing that makes it so you can never come back. It puts the blue box in that leftward facing position, and you can never hit the switch again. So you actually have to be really careful about your timing. One, two, nope. The move does not execute all the way before the arrow change. The arrow changes states the second you take the step. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay. So we've got that blue button held down. Both the red and the blue buttons are held down, and those spaces are now completely inaccessible. I don't know how... So when I press right here, yes, it does just slide us all the way across the thing. So actually, that's a really bad spot to be in. We don't want to go there until we're ready to leave. I have to figure out how to get the... Shoot. Evil Sandy's stuck, though, at that point, right? That version of the timing actually kills it. How do I get you... All right. If I press right, if I press down now, Sandy moves into a corner and dies. But once you've got that red arrow set up, or the box on the red button set up, Evil Sandy's movements are very curtailed because Evil Sandy ends up in this position and the only place you can go is in a square that doesn't ever lead you to the buttons. So we need to move. There is a box in Evil Sandy's area, and that needs to be dealt with at a higher priority. I think this is right still. How do we get Evil Sandy? Okay. No, wait. Sorry. Down. Right. Okay. Now, if Evil Sandy gets put into that loop, we can actually escape it, right? Yeah, because the box will end up getting pushed to this position, leaving Sandy in the space below. We can go left into this thing, which will cause us to push the box to here, and then we can go up and grab the key. So this requires a shit ton of setup. But it is now safe to move Evil Sandy in such a way that we end up over there. I do now have to actually end up over there, though. Okay, so now we've got them synced. But if I press down in this situation, it's actually not going to get the red button covered. We're too early. Now we do it. Okay. One down. Then I press right here. That moves real Sandy over into position to do the thing, and it moves fake Sandy out of the box area. No, shit, I need to hit... Sorry, right. I need to hit left first. Then I can hit right safely without breaking everything. Shit. I need to get Evil Sandy's box situated now before we're really safe to move around. Okay, so now I press right. I want to press down, but doing so is disastrous. But I can walk the loop another time without breaking anything. Now I press right. Now I press down. It causes Evil Sandy to push that box against the wall, making the key accessible, and also covers the blue button at the same time. And then is this the moment where I press left? So if I press down to make Sandy go up, I die, right? Yes, and I end up here, but it's actually, that's fine. And then when I press left right now, it'll move Sandy, it'll move Evil Sandy right and get me the key. And then I just push this box down, open that up, slide across here, and can't leave the puzzle. Oh no. Shit. But isn't this always going to be the case? You're always going to press the blue button twice. There's no way to do this puzzle without pressing the blue button exactly twice. And it looks like it's the same on the other side. No, it's not true on this side. Shoot, it's not true of the blue button because you can die and respawn over here. So I can press down right now to get Evil Sandy into the position Evil Sandy needs to be in. And then how am I going to die is a critical question. It's like I have to run this next part without press left. I just have to not touch the spawner. I had to get up to the fan area so that I can die in the water without touching the spawner, but that's literally impossible, right? Because the path that you have to navigate in order to manipulate the position of this box necessarily takes you up there. But the thing is, actually, the whole deal with the box having to go into this corner isn't true if you're planning to die and respawn on this spawner. You can just hit left, right? Well, but when we die and respawn, we're going to hit left. It's going to change this arrow to point in a different direction. And then we are no longer going to be sliding smoothly out the exit. It's going to be a different position. Also, another problem, actually looking at this, the red arrows cannot be pointing to the right. Because if they're pointing to the right, this one's going to make it so you can't move left here. It always just shoves you back into the fan. And with this one in this position, you're always going to get hurled off the edge anyway. So, yeah, there is a way to... There's a way to interact with these buttons more times, and we have to figure it out. Because the double turn from the starting position, which it seems like is the mandatory number of buttons or number of times to press each button, actually just makes the puzzle impossible. You slide in, you slide out. If you were to slide the boxes out, then you would be pressing the button an extra time, right? The box can press the button on the way out, and then you can press it on the way out. And that leaves the arrows. Let's see. We need to rotate. The blue arrow has to be pointed up. We're going to end up pressing them the same number of times. Probably, right? Because of the mirroring of the crab actions, or maybe not. But in any case, we need one of them to point upward, at least. And it's okay if the other one points downward, and it doesn't matter which one's which. Because we can just, on the fan island, we can just step onto the one that's pointed downward but has nowhere to move you, and then move up through the one that's pointed upward to the goal. So how do we do that? That seems very challenging. So I know this is wrong. I'm just playing with the timing here. So like if I then press left, I'm completely ignoring Evil Zandy. Right? That does that, and then we gain the ability to... Yeah, see, this is actually solvable. So this is with one blue press or with three blue presses and one red press. One red press is not actually a possibility. It's going to have to be 3 red presses, isn't it? 2 is not... Yeah, 2 makes the puzzle unsolvable. I think 1 is... No, I guess if I grab the key... Well, I can't. I was going to say if I grab the key before I come over there, then it is 1 press, but you have to press the red button down before you can grab the key. So... This puzzle is difficult. This is a tough one. I'm going to think about this. I am going to call the episode there. I think that's where we'll leave it for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. We might not be doing one of these every day. I might break these up a little bit because I do need time to like sit down and work on them between episodes a little bit, because they've gotten quite difficult. But I do want to finish it. We are going to finish the series. It just might take a little while at this rate. So come back next time for maybe more of this and maybe a little bit of something else, depending on how long it takes me to work out this next puzzle. And we'll see you then.